I'm Brad. I'm the host of Riter Radio, and I'm a dummy. How are you? I'm good. I got a lot of sleep, I'll tell you that. Pretty crazy. I tend to be a late night person. I used to be like a, 3:30 bedtime type of person. That's like real bad. Now it's like at 1:30, I think is reasonable. Alarm goes off at 8:30. It's fine. Last night I got home from, where were we? Sports, some kind of sports, baseball. We did. We didn't even have. We didn't have any games or practices or anything, so I booked a batting cage and invited a few of my kids' friends, and then we went and they got to pitch and they got to hit for an hour, and then I came home and it wasn't quite time for Monday Night Football, and I'm not positive like how quickly. I just know that I fell asleep. At one point, my phone rang. I could tell I was falling asleep. Sitting on the couch, I was falling asleep. And the phone rang, and I was like, why is somebody calling me so late? And I looked, and it was like 20 after 8 or something. And I don't remember if I answered. I don't remember who it was. I don't know. But I was just tired. Or maybe it was just a text, whatever it was. The phone buzzed. I was like, leave me alone. I'm sleeping, trying to sleep. I assumed at that point that it was like 10:45, but really it was like 20 after 8. And the next thing I knew, I woke up thinking it was 7:30 in the morning because I had been asleep for so long. I knew I felt rested and wide awake. It was 1:15. So I got enough sleep in to feel rested and ready to take on the day by 1:15. I'm not usually asleep right around then, but I'm often not asleep yet at 1:15. I woke up then and was like, I wanted to go for breakfast. Here's the thing, though. Post-COVID, no options. You remember those of you who have lived the life of the late night person, the stay up late, get up late, morning sucks, night is better crowd? Who's with me? I know some of you are with me. There used to be things to do. If you woke up fully charged at 1:15 a.m., like I did, that was prime grocery shopping time for me. If you have never had the pleasure of shopping in the middle of the night for groceries with no one else in the store, it's like 3 people wandering around. It was awesome. No crowd, no nothing. You can't get like fresh deli meat. But other than that, same experience minus all the people. I think about that all the time, how much I would like certain places and events if I could just get rid of all the people. And that was a good way to get rid of them, is to shop when no one else is shopping. Can't even do that. I was trying to think, like, I woke up starving. My wife tortured me with a salad for dinner, and maybe that's it. I had no energy because I didn't eat real food. But I had salad for dinner. It was fine. In the moment, it was fine. It was good. I liked it. But, that was at 5:30, 6 o'clock. That was about 6 o'clock. And then I was knocked out cold by, seriously, 20 after 8. Maybe it was 8:30. Something like that. But I dropped off. I get a lot of text messages at night. So a lot of conversations. People know that's when I'm available to talk. And I missed them all. So anybody who's listening, if I didn't reply to you yesterday, it's because I fell asleep by 8:30. And you didn't want me calling you back or texting you back at 1:30, right? So then, wide awake, what do? Super productive. Watch the entire Puff Daddy documentary on Netflix. I had started it. I was, 20 minutes in. But it's, 4 hours long. I just watched it all. I don't think I was asleep until probably 6 again. But then sleep 6 to 8:30. I'm fine. It's all added up to be good. I got a little sore throat thing going on. I don't get sick very often. But this time of year, it just tends to kick in where I got to go through like a week of various symptoms. So my prediction is that today is sore throat. There's a chance I'd lose my voice. If I lose my voice, there won't be a show. Or I'll just dance. Now that it's a video show, you don't need my voice. I'll just put on a performance. I'll do a silent movie. I could put on a play for you. I could do all kinds of things. I've got other cameras. We can go out and about. We can just wander the neighborhood or the city or something. Lots of options. But if my voice is gone, this is like the mild. I wake up, I'm like, we're going to have a week of this crap. And I don't know if other people are like this or if this is a naturally occurring phenomenon or if it's just the way it works in my body. But even like when I had COVID, same thing. I'll have a symptom for a day, and then that'll transform into a different system. So it'll be sore throat today, and then no voice tomorrow, and then a cough for a day, and then it turns into sneezing for a day, and then I'm stuffed, and then I'm runny, and then it's over, or something like that. Like there's a whole system. I've never read about it. Is that a real thing, or is it just something I'm perceiving, or does it only happen to me? Is it my superpower to dismiss a symptom within 24 hours and have it become another one? I'm not sure. I've never talked about it with anybody, but I know that's what I get. So I've got a little bit of that, little throat thing going on to the point where last second, as the final song was playing, I was rushing off to fill up my water bottle, and I'm already halfway through it. So that's bad. And I had coffee this morning, which I don't normally do. So I'm a little kind of jacked up, ready to go, which is good. Which is good when you're hosting a show, especially by yourself, and it's 2 hours long, and it's mostly just you flapping your gums. Yesterday's show was supposed to be about a bunch of things, and it ended up being mostly about Jeff Kent. The Bills played. I did some of that when Scott was on, but I still have plenty of things to talk about with regard to the football team and the playoff chances and the division chances and this monster game of the year at New England coming up. It's been a long time since the Bills played the Patriots in a meaningful game. I know there was a playoff game, but I don't know. Josh Allen against Mac Jones didn't feel super meaningful. And then when that's the day the Bills executed the perfect offensive game, just touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. So that one doesn't feel real. The last time the Bills played the Patriots in a super meaningful regular season game where the Bills were the better team, yeah, it's been a while. And I know the standings don't say that yet. But I feel like it's not well known enough in Western New York just how simple the formula is for reclaiming the division. And we did touch on this a little yesterday, but it's what I woke up thinking about again today. I know it's only Tuesday, but I'm ready for Bills Pats. And I'm sure a bunch of you are too. I do want them to take a little bit of time and get a little healthier and all that stuff. But looking at the standings, yeah, the Patriots are still up at the top of the division. They now are the 2 seed because of a tiebreaker situation with Denver. But as we pointed out yesterday, the division is still very much in play. And if overcoming the team that has the division lead is in play and they happen to be tied for the 1 seed in the conference, then the 1 seed is very much in play too. So I think that's worth noting. With the Bills sitting at 2-2 in the division and the Patriots sitting at 3-0 in the division, the Bills are 6-3 in the conference. The Pats are 6-2 in the conference. All of the Patriots' remaining games are division or conference games. They're all conference games, and 3 of the 4 are division. So if the Bills can do their job, which starts with winning at New England, the Patriots, you're going to hear all week about how the Patriots can clinch the division here. Yeah, okay. Or they can not clinch the division and leave it completely wide open. 1 win in Foxborough opens up a world of possibilities for the Bills. It is in no way a must-win game for Buffalo. Just be in the top 7 is really all I need. We have learned many, many, many times in Buffalo that you can't win the Super Bowl in October, November, December. You can't do it. It's just not possible. You can blow it and miss the playoffs, but you can't win it. So really all we're looking for is the Bills to survive, get to January, and then play their best football for a few weeks. And then we'll have a parade. Like, that's the goal. That's the plan. It's always the plan. It's always the goal. But I think we forget about it. We have, for sure, gotten spoiled again. We're in that realm where it is expected that this team will take the field and dominate week after week. And it just doesn't happen that way. But it also doesn't matter because through all of the problems, perceived problems that the team has had, They're in position to go win 4 games and be the top spot in the conference and sit out for a week and let 3 of the teams get picked off. So there's that. And to further explain, if the Bills win this game, they now sit a game behind New England. And if the Bills continue to win, you're just looking for a Patriots loss. Because the division record would wind up the same. And then the conference record would be in favor of the Bills. You got to win this game and then be 1 game better than the Pats over the last 3 weeks. And the Bills' schedule includes Cleveland, the Jets, and Philly. You know, you might think differently about Philly this morning. I didn't watch the game. I saw 5 turnovers. I saw Jalen Hurts turning the ball over twice on one play, which is hard to do. He was intercepted, and then the guy running the interception back fumbled the ball. And then Hurts wound up with the ball again, and then he was running with it, and then he fumbled the ball. And the Chargers got it. So, 5 turnover night, although really it's 4 because 2 on the same play is kind of... There's some panic in Philly. This would be a great day, honestly, to have our good friend John Fuller on, our senior Philly correspondent. When Eagles things come up, we like to get him on. He is... I didn't even try because he's on Pacific time right now as he's in Vegas with Red Murdoch. And my first question was, you guys sharing a room? And he's like, no, we have individual rooms. But I think it would have been funny if it was just John and Red hanging out at the Bellagio waiting for tonight's awards dinner, the 67th National Football Foundation Awards Dinner, where Red Murdoch is one of 16 finalists for the William Campbell Trophy, which is a Scholar Athlete Award. Just by being one of the 16 finalists, he has already earned an $18,000 postgraduate scholarship, which is cool. I don't know what you win when you win, other than the trophy itself, but pretty cool. You win 16 grand for being a finalist. You get to go to Vegas and go to a fancy dinner, and you get to do that with John Fuller. So congratulations already to Red Murdoch, but this also sort of precludes us. I wasn't going to hassle John. Like right now, it's 7:30 in the morning there, and he's probably up. And honestly, John, if you are up and you're listening, he tells me he listens every day. Now, that might change when he's at the Bellagio, because he could be playing blackjack instead of or hanging out with Red. I don't know what they do. They go to breakfast together. No idea. But John, if you're listening and you want to call in, feel free, because I'm interested in the Vegas thing, and I'm interested in your take on the Eagles and what happened last night and what's going on with that team. But that's the other opponent for the Bills. Just go beat the Patriots. And then you got to beat Cleveland, Philly, and the Jets. And you need the Patriots to lose to either lose at the Ravens, lose at the Jets, or lose at home against Miami. That all sounds really doable. That would catapult the Bills to the top spot in the East. And then I haven't looked at Denver's remaining schedule, but I'm sure Kansas City's in there, right? Let's see. Conference. Where are you, Broncos? There you are, 11-2. Look at you. Look at you all grown up. Broncos record or remaining schedule: home against the Packers, home against the Jaguars, at the Chiefs, home against the Chargers. That's not a cakewalk by any stretch. And I'm not buying the Denver thing fully. A lot of tight wins. Doesn't mean tight wins are bad. You can win a bunch of tight games and win the Super Bowl. Patriots did it for 20 years. You can do that. Chiefs did it last year. They didn't win it, but they got to the Super Bowl. All 7 one-score games or 8 one-score games that they won, or 9 maybe. But I'm looking at what this Broncos team has done. And, I mean, they've ripped off 10 consecutive wins after a 1-point loss and a 3-point loss. So even their losses are tight. They're playing close games. But they've got a win by 4, a win by 2, a win by 1, a win by 3, a win by 3, a win by 3, a win by 1, a win by 7. Doesn't matter who they're playing. They're in a tight game every week. Packers are a good team. Jaguars apparently are a good team. Chiefs look like garbage, but going into Arrowhead on Christmas as a division rival is hardly a cakewalk. And then they close against the Chargers, who I think are a pretty good team. So they've got the ugliest of the 3 teams. Of the Bills, Pats, and Broncos, they've got the ugliest Final Four, I think, or at least Final Three. Because Bills against Pats, I guess we have to wipe that one out. That's a tough game for both, right? So my guess is that the Bills won't wind up with the 1 seed because you need to make up 2 games on each of these teams, and you don't get a shot at the Broncos in this case. But you got it at the Patriots. And I would be very satisfied with the 2 seed and playing host to whatever comes in at number 7. What is number 7 right now? I just had that in front of me, but I closed it out to find this. Number 7 right now would be Houston. No, not Houston. Ooh. Okay, well, Houston's the team I don't want to see. I'm scarred. I think most of us probably are from what happened this year, what happened last year, what happened in the playoffs down there, the first year that they made it, that the Bills made it with Josh Allen. He's a far different player by now. They're a different team. You know, John Brown's not even around to throw a touchdown pass on the opening drive. Dable's not around. It's a different squad. But Houston's been a pain, man. Houston's been a pain. And their defense is legit, and we're seeing it week after week now. That, to me, is a pretty scary team. So, I don't want Bills 2, Texans 7, but there's a lot that's going to change. So, I got 4 games left for everybody. So, that's there. The Colts. Bring on the Colts. And Riley Leonard as their quarterback. Or whoever they wind up with. If they find a veteran, maybe they will. Maybe they'll bring somebody off the couch. What's Testaverde up to? We saw Flacco on TV the other day, so he's not available. He's with the Bengals. But, like, where's Vinny? Where's Josh Johnson these days? He's got to be somewhere, right? He's always somewhere. If this Colts team does get itself into the playoffs, I have a feeling it won't be with Riley Leonard. So I think it might be Riley Leonard and they rot and fall away. Or bring somebody in to try to get into that 7th spot. Right now it's 8 teams for 7 spots, realistically. The Ravens and Chiefs and Dolphins all sit at 6 and 7 with a chance to try to grab something, but they've got to make up 2 to 3 games over the course of 4 weeks on someone. Two games on the Colts or Texans, and then 3 games in 4 weeks on the Bills or the Chargers or the Jaguars. Seems unlikely. It seems like we're down to 8 teams for 7 spots, with the Bills having a 1-game edge on the 2 teams behind them. But only one of those 2 gets in. So it's a little tight. Go beat the Patriots. Things become a lot clearer and a lot simpler and a lot easier. I won't be the only one talking about how reasonable it is to win the division and to get to the top spot if the Bills can just take care of business on Sunday in Foxborough. And that would be nice. All right, things I had written down to talk about yesterday but never got to because I was rambling forever about Jeff Kent, and then Scott came on. And then we talked about Jeff Kent some more. Jeff Kent in the Hall of Fame is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But not Bonds. No Bonds, just Kent. Okay. I saw something. I like to recognize when something is cool. And now that I think about it, I maybe have seen it before. There was a commercial that ran during the Bills game the other day. It always just says AKG now, but I still think of it as the Albright Knox. Is that what it is? Albright Knox Gallery, AKG, just like a rebranded thing. Anyway, commercial for the art gallery not downtown, but like by Buff State. Is that considered downtown? What is that? It's not the West Side. It's kind of the West Side. Anyway, the commercial looked very familiar to me right as it started happening. Inside the art gallery, and you see 3 people walking, holding hands, kind of dragging each other. I was like, why do I know this? And then the music, I kind of recognized it. And I don't know if it was an exact copy of the music or it was just one of those like in the same style so that it feels the same. And then there's this, and one of the people being dragged is wearing a red hockey jersey. It's a Dominic Hasek jersey as opposed to a Gordie Howe jersey, which was worn, by Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But shout out to whoever put together a commercial for Albright Knox Gallery that is absolutely a tribute to, or rip off is wrong. That makes it sound like they did something dirty, nefarious. But it was I will say it's the worst scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But Ferris Bueller's Day Off is it's probably the movie that I've seen the most in my lifetime. And to see it reflected in a commercial for an art gallery, I thought was super cool. So shout out to whoever did that. That was awesome. All right, two things that are money related, but not like real money, little tiny money, tiny money. I went somewhere the other day, went to a restaurant, like a takeout pizza chain, and they have decided that in their world, pennies no longer exist. And I know there's been a movement to eradicate the penny. But it didn't occur to me that you can just decide whatever you want as a business. And just, what sort of currency would you like? We're cash only. We are cashless. We don't give change. So I don't care. But they made a decision that, like, my order was $9.23. And they gave me 75 cents back and said, sorry, we don't do pennies. Oh. I thought this was America. I don't need the pennies. I don't care. I think it's interesting that all the conversations we've had about whether or not we need pennies and should we keep making them and is it worth it and are they worth even as much as it costs to make them? This place is just like, we're not doing it. We're out on pennies. And I respect it. I like it. So there's that. That's my penny story. And now I have a nickel story. My nickel story is this. Maybe a year ago, I was in my car, and I don't know how you do bottle returns or can returns or whatever in your household. But in mine, they accumulate in garbage bags until it's worth my time to go there. Like, I've seen people, you get a 12-pack of beer, and you drink the beer. My dad is probably this way. You take the beer, you drink it. When the can is empty, you put it back in the pack. Then you take that pack to the store, and you get your 60 cents. And that's that. That's no fun to me. Fun to me is going this past Sunday morning. It worked out perfectly because I was ready for football, and it was 11:45. And the Bills weren't playing until 1. I'm not going to the game, so I need something to do to fill the time. So, like, today's the day. We're going to take these cans back. And we had 3 full bags. Like, ended up with $20.20 back from returns. And it's not all beer. If that's what you're thinking, we drink way too much seltzer in this house. An absurd amount of seltzer. Everybody. Their cans are everywhere. And at 11:45, I decided, all right, I need something to do. I asked my wife, got any errands for me to run? Got any? Usually she's got some return that needs to be made. She bought too many things at the store. She bought, 3 different sizes of shoes for somebody, and you've got a month to return them, or like that kind of stuff. Usually there's something like that on the list. If I say, you got anything for me to return? The answer is usually yes. The answer was no. So I was like, I'm going to return cans and bottles. This will be good. So okay, now let's go back in time. About a year ago, I had probably 2 bags of cans in the back of my truck, and I was headed to just to the grocery store to stand there. And I always bring headphones with me, so I'll listen to a podcast or I'll listen to music, and I'll stand there for 20 minutes and feed these cans in. And, in a perfect world, I'll remember gloves. Otherwise, feed them in and then wash my hands of the sticky, gooey mess that exists, because try as I do to make sure every can is actually empty, it does not work with an 11-year-old, or 13-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 9-year-old living in the house. So you're going to get something on you if you're returning cans from this house. So maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. I think it was summer. I was on my way there. I was on the phone with somebody, and I said, all right, I got to go. I'm returning a bunch of cans and bottles. And he's like, where do you go? I was like, to the store. He's like, don't go to the store. So you got to go to one of these bottle return places. It's way easier, way faster, way quicker. Like you just dump stuff out, and then they just give you money and it's over. You don't have to sit there fighting with the machine that's pretending that it can't take. It's like, oh no, we don't take this brand. You look like you don't take Pepsi, liars, and you don't have to fight with the machine. So that's cool. And since then, I have not once gone to just a grocery store. I've gone to a bottle return, facility, can and bottle return facility. There are two different ones that I've used. One's a little closer than the first one I discovered. It was closer to me at the time when I was in the car. So I went to that one, and then I had it in my head that was the one I go to. So I've been going there, and it's way better than putting individual things in the machine. You just go in there with a bag, and you just put them all on a counter. There are various ways to do this. You can do individual machine. Consumers I used to like, but even there, you're kind of racking them up. They give you the cardboard boxes, and you stack them in there. And at these other places, it's just dump it on the counter. And not dump, but like lift them out, put them on the counter, and there's a guy just throwing them into various places. And that's cool. And that's the way that both of the two that I have been using work. But both of them were closed on Sunday morning, so I had to find a different one. Distance was about the same as the others. No big deal. Didn't mind driving. It was an extra 2-minute drive or something. It's like 4 miles from home. And I was looking to kill time anyway. So I went to this place. Check this out. If you have not been to one of these places, and if you've already been there, you're like, yeah, no kidding, Brad. Moron. You're 10 years behind the times. Well, I just discovered this yesterday. The one that I went to yesterday, you don't have to place anything. It's like going to a laundromat, except it's like a dirty laundromat. But there's a machine. This is perfect for me. Not perfect for, like I said, my dad probably puts a 12-pack back into a 12-pack or a 30-pack back into a 30-pack or whatever. I've got garbage bags. Open up, dump garbage bags into what was essentially looked like a washer or dryer. Dump that in, pull the door closed, and it just starts counting. And it shoots out some that are rejected and whatever. But ultimately, I had to do nothing except dump them in. And then I got, like I said, $20.20 back for 8 minutes of dumping things in and waiting. What a fool I was previously, going one can at a time. This is an adventure that all of you should go on. It's fun. It's a fun machine. And when it gets to the end, you can either refill, and you hit the button that says refill, and the door opens back up, and you dump them back in. That's what I did. Or you can hit finish, and it'll print your receipt. You walk 15 feet to your left, you hand it to a guy, he gives you money, you leave. It was awesome. And I didn't know it existed in that way. I'm glad it does. Super cool. So there, shared that with you. All right. No pennies, bottle returns. Ferris Bueller commercial. Basketball. Quick basketball update. Then we're taking a break. Because the throat thing is a little more real than I thought. I hadn't spoken for, half an hour straight since feeling the sore throat. Now it's coming. It's coming for me. It's all right. We're going to do a full show. Everything's going to be fine. But I do need a lozenge or something, I don't know if I have vitamin C drops that expired like 4 years ago. I think I might go with one of those. It's the closest I have to a lozenge on hand. Cross off Red Murdoch too. Did that. Basketball. I talk a lot about baseball because we do a lot of baseball between my two sons when we're in full swing. I have 3 sons, but 2 of them play baseball. Between them, they play on 4 teams because they play on their regular league house team, they call it. And then they both play on a travel team. So we just have baseball after baseball after baseball. Well, now we're into basketball season. All 3 play basketball. So we play in the same league where we play baseball, except they're in 3 different divisions. So now, beginning in January, every Sunday, we'll have a game at 10, 11, or 12, then a game at 1, 2, or 3, and then a game at 4 or 5. So it'll be 3 games constantly. In addition to those teams, my oldest son is also playing in a different rec league where he's got, so far they've played 2 games. They practice once a week. They play once a week. So that's fine. So now we're at how many basketball events a week? We're at each of the teams practices once and plays once. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. So that's 10 basketball events a week. 5 practices, 5 games. Now add in that my oldest son, who's on those 2 teams, is also playing on like a modified developmental something. But that is 2 practices a week for the next 2 months. So now add in 2 more now we're up to 12 basketball events a week. And then they're going to try to scrimmage 4 times. So that would be each of those weeks. That would be 13 events a week. And also, baseball is still going on. Both kids travel practice once a week. So now we're at 15 sporting events a week. And then, what was the other one? There's another. Oh, and indoor league. So 16. We're at 16 sporting events a week. Oh, and flag football is still going on. So we're at 17 between the 3 of them. We're at about 17 sporting events per week. And the oldest is the least, I'm not going to say least athletic, but least interested in sports. He wants to play guitar and drums more often than anything else, but he's also 6'2", so he's playing basketball on 3 teams. That's what we're doing. And we're working on aggression. The main thing we need out of him is to recognize that he's big and to use that as a strength as opposed to being timid. I get this. I've gone through life being larger than most people, and you try to just blend in as often as possible. You try to just, you're at a concert, you try to stand to the side or in the back or whatever. You don't want to take up too much space, and I do take up too much space, but I'm trying to make that less of a problem for others. You're riding on a plane. It sucks. I'm sitting like this, my shoulders like this, so that I'm trying to make yourself small. And in basketball, you don't want to make yourself small. You want to make yourself as big as possible and as physical as possible. And I've been telling him the way that here's what it is. If you're doing it right, as a 6'2", 200-pound 13-year-old, the other team, or certainly the other kid that's guarding you or that you're guarding, is going to hate you by the end of the game. And if he hates you by the end of the game, you're doing it right. It's not just that, but that's a sign. Like, go out there and don't shrink from being your size. Be aggressive, be physical. Use your butt. Get your butt into somebody's hip. Let a rebound hit the ground and then grab it. Or go up and get it. But don't stand around waiting for the ball because you're 6'2" to fall into your hands. And we're working on it. It's getting a little better here and there, a little better. What was cool was coming home from the game. So because there was flag football at the same time, my wife and other kids were at that, and I was at basketball with Zach. And the first week of basketball did not go especially well for our team. They were fine, but they lost by close to 20 points. It was high 40s to 32, 48 to 32 or something like that. And we didn't know what to expect going into week 2. Was very happy to be able to come home and say, not only did the team win 29-28 final, but Zach only scored 2 points in the whole game. 6'2", he only scored 2 points. But those 2 points came at the buzzer and helped inject some energy into this kid he's stuck playing way more basketball than he intended to sign up for. He's doing it like a champ. He's getting better. It's awesome. You can see him improving as far as like stamina and stuff. He told me they had tryouts last week. Was it last week? Yeah. 2 hours each, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I asked him on Thursday when he went to practice for his other team, hey, do you feel like you're better now than you were 3 days ago? And he said, yes. He said, running especially. I guess the first night of tryouts, they had to run for 5 straight minutes, which as a mostly guitar player, running for 5 minutes, that's a lot of running. And he ran for 5 minutes, and it was terrible. And then the next day, they had to run for 6 minutes, and it was about 20% worse. And then the third day, they had to run 7 minutes, and he said it was easy. He couldn't believe how easy it was. And I said, well, look, that's what you do. When you practice things, you get better at things. And he's starting to get it. So he felt himself get better, had a game on Saturday, only scored once, but it was a buzzer beater. Just a layup, but got a rebound, put it up in a crowd, and it fell through. And then, it was probably 2.5 seconds left when he put it up. But it fell through, tick, tick, bang, done. So it wasn't quite get the shot off, it's not quite Tyus Edney from UCLA back in the day or, any of the more famous ones, Rip Hamilton. It wasn't quite that. But it was the final shot of the game. If it went in or didn't, we were done. And it banged home. And he went nuts for, he was pretty psyched for a kid who's not super into sports. I think he's not super into sports because he hasn't played them as much as his brothers. And he likes to be awesome at things. Even as a kid, I remember he wouldn't answer questions unless he knew the answer. And that's kind of the way he is. He likes to do things that he's good at, things he can practice on his own. He can practice piano with nobody watching him. He can practice guitar. He can practice drums. And then be like, hey, watch this. And he's good at it. Basketball, you got to kind of be out there and train and learn in front of people and against people. And that's a different vibe for him. But shout out to my son for his buzzer beater on Saturday. Very exciting. I mean, he's played 2 games. He's got 4 points total. So this is not like, oh, my God, scholarships coming. It's not that. But the enthusiasm that comes with as you're learning and kind of forcing your way into becoming, doing something a little bit out of your comfort zone. This is the 4th year he's played, but he's never played as a 6'2" kid before. So now there's a little more pressure. Like, you probably should be good at basketball. And we're getting there. So shout out to my boy. All right, timeout. We're going to play a song. Whatever the song. Oh, yeah, I remember. We were using this is so much better. Using Spotify now to play the music so that I don't have to choose. I just hit play, and it works. So we're going to do that. We had the CB song already played, and I moved back. It'll be fine. All right. I'll be back. I'm Brad Riter. It's Riter Radio, episode 222. Like, that's the first time I've said that today. 222. Thanks for listening, watching, sharing, etc. Be right back. In general, I would say I like that song. It was about 3 minutes too long, though, wasn't it? Shooting Star by Bad Company. It's a good song, but it was too much. I don't know if it says 2015 remaster. So I'm not picking individual songs to play anymore. I still have the ability to do that, but it's something off my plate, allowing Spotify to just do it. And now I've got the thing set up so you can see what song is playing. You can see the album cover. It's pretty cool. But the list, there are 300-something songs on the list. Everything that has been either a song of the day in the first 100-something episodes or just a song that has gotten mixed in and is a part of the Riter Radio playlist. Riter Radio, the playlist is what it's called on Spotify. It's good. It's a good playlist. But I'm not choosing individual songs. So I wasn't like, what everybody needs to hear right now is Shooting Star by Bad Company, the 6-minute version. Is the real one 6 minutes, like the original? Because, man, it went on forever. And I was already in a spot where I was like, I'm about ready to come back. Let one more song play. And then it's 6 minutes. Paul Rogers. Just too much. Shooting Star song length. Yeah, 6:16. Yeah, okay. That's normal. That's how long that song is. Maybe there's a radio edit. There's got to be a radio edit. That's, the thing I'm used to hearing. Because, man, that took a long time. All right. It's Riter Radio. It's episode 222. And presented by Brian Janik at thefinancialguys.com. 20 years plus as an independent insurance broker. If you are approaching the age of 65 in particular, that's the guy you want to talk to because he will help you navigate your life into the Medicare world. It's all there for you. He knows about it. You don't. It's tricky to you. It's not to him. He's so busy right now. It's crazy. That's why I felt bad a little bit dropping 9 basketballs off in his office the other day. It's like, come on, man. He's running our basketball league, and it's his busy season for work. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't call or get in touch. Reach out. Go through the website, thefinancialguys.com, and hit up our good friend Brian Janik, sponsor of Riter Radio. What did I had multiple things. Oh, I had the Jalen Hurts play. I was trying to show it, but it kind of stopped. Oh, here we go. Okay, good. It went away. I had it, and then all of a sudden I had this really long video instead. But I can switch to this, I think. Yeah, there we go. Then fade to that, and then you can watch the Jalen Hurts. 2 turnovers on the same play. Very difficult to do. This is not the play. Come on. See, that's what I mean. We're going to just jump through. Oh, that was it. I had a text about this yesterday because, well, we've got our UB football chat going, which is me and Scott and John Fuller, who's our resident Eagles fan, and Paul Peck is involved. And somebody said 2 turnovers on the same play. That's hard to do. And I thought it was kind of a joke, like maybe he fumbled, then picked it up, then fumbled again or something. Nope. Interception. The return is fumbled. It's recovered by Hurts. Then he fumbles. Here it is. All right, pass, picked off. Ball comes out. Hurts gets it. Here he goes. Oh, he fumbled again. And then the Chargers get it. Those are 2 of his 5 turnovers on the day. Sad. And honestly, not ideal for Bills fans because ultimately the Chargers win that game. That's what leads them to being a game ahead. Or excuse me, to pull them even with the Bills. And then they've got the tiebreaker right now. But that's not what we're concerning ourselves with. As a community here, the Riter Radio community, what we're thinking about is the division and the 1 seed. And we'll worry about oh my God, they have to get into the playoffs. How are they going to hold off Indy or the Chargers or Houston or how are they going to do that when we need to? But we don't need to do that yet. Right now, it's go beat the Patriots. Biggest game of the year coming up on Sunday. We will absolutely talk about it every day leading up to the game and certainly afterward. But I don't know. I like the. I haven't looked at the line. What's the line? Who's pick? Who's the favorite in this game? All right. If I'm guessing, I would say Bills minus 1.5 is my guess. All right. Buffalo Bills versus Patriots spread. Bills are favored by 1.5 points. Look at me. Pretty good. Bills are the better team. They're on the road. They're slightly favored. They should be the better team even more so in mid-December when they've got the defending MVP who's, 8 years into the league and has been lights out come December and come playoff time since like year 2. Certainly since 2020. He came in 18. They missed the playoffs. They got in 19. They lost to Houston. And they've been cruising since then. The 5 consecutive division titles started there. And they're looking to make it 6. And the Patriots can end that with a win on Sunday. But if the Bills can win on Sunday, they are very much alive for their 6th consecutive division title. And, I've had to tell people, even in my own house, one in particular, I'll give you a hint. She's older than 13. That it's okay to lose a couple games over the course of the season. It's okay to not look your best every single week. We've been through looking great during the regular season. Going all the way back to 1990. There was no way the Bills weren't going to win the Super Bowl that year, and they didn't. They were absolutely rolling. Once they had the comeback, the back-to-back comebacks against the Raiders and the Broncos. I don't remember. I think it went the opposite order. It was the Broncos where they scored 3 touchdowns in 80-something seconds. They basically did that again the other day. It was 3 touchdowns in like 4 minutes. So that was kind of reminiscent of that game. Things are okay. They're firmly entrenched in the playoff battle right now, and just getting in. I like my chances with the veteran. Drake May's been awesome this year. He really has. I haven't seen him do it in the playoffs yet. I like that. I like complete reliance. And there's nothing to indicate he's suddenly going to melt because it's the playoffs. But as has been documented on this show numerous times, especially by Bob Gaughan, Josh Allen is statistically among the best players to ever play the position in the playoffs. His touchdown to interception ratio is ridiculous. I should have that at the ready. I should have that in my brain at all times. We're going to look up Josh Allen right now. I feel like I don't talk enough about that dude on this show. Would I even be doing this show if it wasn't for him? I was so excited to finally jump on the air, get back on the radio the day after the AFC Championship game last year. Was planning to do 2 straight weeks of shows leading into the Bills' first Super Bowl appearance since 94, season 95, January 95. And then that didn't work out, so we just did 2 weeks of sadness to start the show. All right, where are his playoff numbers? Because it's stupid. We're getting into that area soon, and I like his chances. This is season number 8 for Josh? Yeah. 8 seasons. That's regular season. Where do I see? I want game log. I'll take game logs. Sure. Playoffs. Playoff Josh. Is there a summary? No, because I clicked on game logs. Now, the record in the playoffs is 7-6. So that doesn't sound exceptional. But he's completed 66% of his passes. He's thrown 25 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. He's lost 2 fumbles also. So if you want to tack those on, fine. Now we're at 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions or 6 turnovers. But when I had rushing touchdowns, how about 7 more? So now we're at 32 touchdowns compared to 6 turnovers. And the team is 7-6 in those games. That stinks. The playoff losses. We count the first one, overtime loss to Houston when a touchdown was taken away from the Bills at the start of the second half. You remember that? How do we not dwell on that more? I mean, I still think about the John LeClair goal going through the side of the net in a Sabres-Flyers series. Obviously, there's no goal in wide right and stuff like that, but this one was bad, man. That was a free touchdown. Like, nah. In a playoff game. And I don't even remember who they would have faced that year, and they weren't ready to be Super Bowl champions yet anyway. But even that, the worst playoff performance, probably. How about Cincy? Cincy wasn't great either. 24-46, 264 yards, no touchdowns, although he did catch one from John Brown. Oh, yeah, he's fumbled twice. Oh, I'm sorry. He's fumbled 12 times. I take that back. He has fumbled 12 times in 13 playoff games. They've lost 2 of them. So that's the number that we're looking at. Actual turnover, 2. Put the ball on the ground, 12. We don't have to count those. We don't have to count fumbles coming out. We can just count the ones that didn't go our way. All right? So, again, that is 32 touchdowns, 6 turnovers, and a 7-6 record. He's not the problem ever. Really. Yeah, he was a maniac a couple times early. I think it was that Houston game where he once panicked. That's the fumble lost, I bet. Where he kind of panicked and turned to pitch the ball for no reason at all. You can see it like, no, kid, don't. And he did. But he's grown up a lot since 2018. So say what you will about Drake May and his candidacy maybe for MVP this year. I like the been there, done that guy who's got a tremendous record in the playoffs. I like his chances. So go win on Sunday is the point I'm trying to make. I want to look at the NFL standings again, just because I want to talk about all the quarterbacks and see if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Regular season playoff standings. Okay. Seems like a contradiction, but it isn't. All right. So Bo Nix is a 1 seed right now. Drake May is a 2. Trevor Lawrence is a 3. The corpse of Aaron Rodgers is 4. Justin Herbert with a broken hand is 5. Josh Allen is 6. C.J. Stroud 7. Riley Leonard and the Colts are 8 as of right now. And then you got a 2-game drop-off to the Ravens, Chiefs, Dolphins, Bengals. Do you hear anything in that group of 4? I don't know. The 3 teams that you don't want to see, right? Traditionally. And part of that's quarterback play. Part of that's just been there, done that. All the been there, done that's are out. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been there and won a Super Bowl. So there's that. But we're talking about a second-year guy I don't believe in at all in Trevor Lawrence. Herbert I like, but we'll see. Seems pretty unlikely. Well, I guess as of right now, it would be what? Bills at Jaguars. If the season ended today. It doesn't. But it would be Bills at Jags, Chargers at Steelers, Texans at Patriots with the Broncos sitting out. That all sounds fine. That all sounds perfectly acceptable. I would sign up for any of that. You told me at the beginning of the season that come December 9th, you'd be looking at a game to get in the hunt for the division this weekend. But meanwhile, the Ravens and the Chiefs and the Bengals would all basically be toast. The Bengals are... Actually, they're not even officially eliminated. They're 4-9, and they're not officially eliminated. I would think that, somebody in this group wins a game and probably puts them away this weekend. But essentially, barring something miraculous from the Ravens or Chiefs, or Dolphins, I guess, we're down to 8 teams for 7 spots, and the Bills are one of them. It's good enough. It's good enough when you look at the list of opponents, of potential opponents. I feel great about it. I want to see the Bills get a little healthier, of course, but every team wants that. When you're thinking about health and this team, it's how's the quarterback's health? Because that's what matters. Getting Kincaid back this week made a difference. Dawson Knox was Kincaid 2, so we had 2 Kincaids. And yeah, the wide receiver group is not. It's not perfect. It's not ideal. It's something that I think will continue to be addressed. They've been, I forgot, Mecole Hardman thing happened. And Elijah Moore was number 18, and he's gone, but now Brandon Cooks is number 18. Did you see the Cooks play? It's not really the Cooks play. You would call it the Josh Allen play because it was his long touchdown run. But on that play, I saw it. You can't see it live, like during the initial broadcast, but on the replay where it's from behind Josh Allen looking down the field, you see, the whole thing just parts, and it's obvious, like, oh, he's going to go very far here. And Brandon Cooks is deep, and he's got like 2 steps on his guy. And you can see him as he gets the 2 steps, put his hand in the air, like, give me the ball. And he looks back for the ball, and instead of seeing the ball, he sees Josh Allen running toward him. And he's like, oh, I guess I'm blocking now. And he does a great job of sealing it off and really, allowing the finish to happen, allowing the end zone to be an option for Allen. But it's pretty funny to watch. I wonder, do I want to waste my time trying to find that? Yes, I kind of do. Josh Allen, long TD run. Let's see if that just works by itself. Longest touchdown run by quarterback in Bills history? Really? Didn't know that. All right, here's a 39-second version. Will this have the replay? We'll see. We're going to find out, aren't we? We're going to check this out together. I'm going to skip this ad. I'm going to switch this thing over. Skip the ad. Let's see if we can see it. All right. Here's the play. Right about now is when Cooks is calling for the ball. But instead, he's just doing that down there in the end zone. Come on, show the replay. Show the play from behind. Come on. Jump ahead. Here we go. All right, watch Cooks. Downfield. I want the ball. Oh. All right. Well, then I'll do this then. that awesome? We'll do that again. Here he goes. I want the ball. Never mind. I'll just take number 20. You do your thing. I'll just spin this guy around a little bit and seal the deal. That was awesome. That was my favorite play of the game. I think, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The Benford thing was my favorite play of the game. I said in the moment that's one of my favorite plays in the history of football. That might have been a bit hyperbolic, a little over the top. It was great, though. Okay. Other stuff on my screen. Let's start cycling through this stuff as we bring you the final half hour of Riter Radio today. Close that. And close that. Oh, all right. So we've got this. This is pretty cool. Australia has banned social media for children. Accounts held by users under 16 must be removed on apps that include TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Snapchat, Reddit, Kik, Twitch, and Threads. Australia has enacted a world-first ban on social media for users age 16, or users under age 16, excuse me, causing millions of children and teenagers to lose access to their accounts. I'm not going to read the whole list again, but all those things, Facebook on, are expected to have taken steps from Wednesday to remove accounts held by users under 16 in Australia and prevent those teens from registering new accounts. Platforms that do not comply risk fines of up to $49.5 million. There have been some teething problems with the ban's implementation. Guardian Australia has received several reports of those under 16 passing the facial age assurance tests, but the government has flagged it is not expecting the ban. The government has flagged it is not expecting the ban will be perfect from day one. They're talking Australian here, so it sounds a little off. All listed platforms, apart from X, had confirmed by Tuesday they would comply with the ban. Tuesday is yesterday in Australia, right? Is that how the international date line works? Is it already Wednesday there? It seems like it's probably Wednesday there. I don't know. I don't speak Aussie, mate. The e-safety commissioner said it had recently had a conversation with X about how it would comply, but the company had not communicated its policy to users. Blue Sky, or Bluesky, I think it's funnier as Bluesky, an X alternative announced on Tuesday it would also ban under 16s, despite eSafety assessing the platform as low risk due to its small user base of 50,000 in Australia. Children had spent the past few weeks undertaking age assurance checks, swapping phone numbers, and preparing for their accounts to be deactivated. The Australian chief executive and co-founder of the age assurance service KID said his service had conducted hundreds of thousands of age checks in the past few weeks. The KID service was being used by Snapchat, among others. Parents of children affected by the ban shared a spectrum of views on the policy. One parent told The Guardian their 15-year-old daughter was very distressed because all her 14 to 15-year-old friends have been age verified as 18 by Snapchat. Since she had been identified as under 16, they feared her friends will keep using Snapchat to talk and organize social events, and she will be left out. That's probably true. But we're going to have some casualties here. We've gone too far. We need to fix it. I'm okay with that that girl being left out of her friend group a little bit. She's going to have to talk to some people. Maybe use the phone to call someone or text, just like a regular person. Another parent said the ban had forced him to teach his child how to break the law. Oh. I've shown her how VPNs work and other methods on bypassing age restrictions. I've had to set her up with her own adult YouTube account and have assisted her in bypassing TikTok's age estimation and will keep doing so each time it asks. When my kids were born, starting with Zach in 2012, I immediately, like maybe day of, set him up with zachriter@gmail.com, thinking, seems like Gmail's going to be around for a while. Might as well get your name. I did it for Zach. I did it for Nate. I think I did it for Drew. It all was fine until Zach got a little older, started messing around, saw that his birthday was incorrect, changed his birthday within the account, and then was banned, and the account was closed and canceled. So his name at gmail.com was his from birth until he started screwing around. He's like, hey, how's it going, Gmail? It's me, Zach. Yeah, I know it says that I'm 19 here, but really I'm 7. And they're like, oh, okay, goodbye. And shut him down. So that happened. I think Nate's is still intact. They don't really use it, but they'll have it. And I think Drew's too. But yeah, Zach messed it up. The bottom line is I sympathize with this. I had to teach my child how to break the law. Yeah, I set it up. And I lied about their birthdays so that they'd have the name. But then it was just going to sit there until they were ready to use it. Babies don't need email. I know that. We all know that. It was for later. But he had to go in there and spill the beans because he couldn't stand seeing the wrong date there. A little OCD action or something prevents him from having his own name as a Gmail account. Others said the ban can't come quickly enough. One parent said their daughter was completely addicted to social media, and the ban provides us with a support framework to keep her off these platforms. I got to say, while many people, my age even and a little younger, are totally, the whole doom scrolling, they call it, just looking at the phone. I have no, social media thing. I use X at times. I use Facebook at times. I use Instagram at times. My problem with it, and it's such a time suck. It's such a waste to just hang out scrolling there. So I don't do that. But I am so hooked on these stupid, puzzle games that, I'll watch a movie and I keep having to rewind it because I'm stuck trying to solve a puzzle at the same time. I'm 51 years old, and I'm addicted to the little tiny screen in my hand. Not in the social media way, but just in these dumb games. I wonder if my life would be better if I would delete them all. But I like them. So I don't know what to... It's always one or two, and it's always puzzle type of stuff. It's Scott Wilson makes fun of me because whatever I'm doing is always very, colorful and child-looking. But they're fun. And I like solving puzzles. And they're always, puzzle related. The one I play the most is called Color Block Jam. I don't recommend anyone start using it. But I love it. There are times when I'll be doing the show and thinking, I think I have a solution for this next level. I think I know what it did. The blue one's got to go before the yellow one. It's got to get to the left, and I get the yellow one to the right, and then I can swing it around. That stuff is in my head. It doesn't need to be. I can be solving actual problems. And instead, I'm hooked on puzzles. So maybe the U.S. could ban puzzles for 51-year-old adult males. And then my life would get better. All right, back to Australia. The Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, said in an opinion piece on Sunday, from the beginning, we've acknowledged this process won't be 100% perfect, but the message this law sends will be 100% clear. Australia sets the legal drinking age at 18 because our society recognizes the benefits to the individual and the community of such an approach. The fact that teenagers occasionally find a way to have a drink doesn't diminish the value of having a clear national standard. That's a good way to put it. Is that what it sounds like when your leader has a brain? Polling has consistently shown that 2/3 of voters support raising the minimum age for social media to 16. The opposition, including leader Susan Lee, have recently voiced alarm about the ban despite waiving the legislation through Parliament and the former Liberal leader Peter Dutton championing it. I don't know who these people are. I don't pretend to know. The ban has garnered worldwide attention. Obviously, it's on Riter Radio here in Buffalo, New York, with several nations indicating they will adopt a ban of their own, including Malaysia, Denmark, and Norway. The European Union passed a resolution to adopt similar restrictions, while a spokesperson for the British government told Reuters it was closely monitoring Australia's approach to age restrictions. Inman Grant, don't know who that is, told The Guardian that from Thursday, she would be sending notices to the platforms covered by the ban to find out how the implementation was progressing. Questions include how many accounts they've deactivated or removed, what challenges they're finding, how they're preventing recidivism and preventing circumvention, whether or not they're abuse or reporting abuse, and the appeals processes are working as planned, she said. Albanese said, that's the prime minister, So the information gathered in this process would be made public. The regulator would need to assess whether platforms were taking reasonable steps. If they were not, it could take that platform to court to seek fines. There would be an independent evaluation of the ban conducted by an academic advisory group examining the short-term, medium-term, and longer-term impacts of the ban. It will look at the benefits over time, but also the unintended consequences. Everything from, are they sleeping? Are they interacting? Or are they actually getting out on sports fields? Are they reading books? Are they taking less medication like antidepressants? Are their test scores improving over time? Potential unintended consequences to be investigated include whether children are moving on to darker areas of the internet, learning how to bypass the bans through VPNs, or moving on to other platforms. Teens on Snapchat affected by the ban, had been publicly sharing their mobile numbers in their profiles ahead of their accounts being shut down. A spokesperson for Snapchat said the platform understood under 16s were disappointed by the ban, but, quote, would strongly encourage any teens using Snapchat not to publicly share their personal contact information. Yeah, present a problem, a technological issue to 14-year-olds and see how that goes. So, yeah, I can see their unintended consequences definitely exist. She said she had sent notices to 15 companies not initially included in the ban, asking them to self-assess whether they should be. Something called Yelp and something called Lemon 8, which shot up the App Store rankings as teens look for alternatives, were among those contacted. Yeah, it is going to be a cat and mouse game, I would think. Like, you become the answer to the problem. It's a good situation to be the person on the verge, or the company on the verge of releasing a new, currently under the radar social media platform to try to snag the kids who've been banned from using all the other ones. That certainly will be a factor. I don't like how my throat feels, y'all. The Golden Globe nominees are out, and I am realizing, for the amount of time and dedication I have spent recently to movies and television shows, there's so much good stuff out there, and somebody every day is telling me about a new thing to watch. And sometimes it's an hour and a half long, and sometimes it's 40 or 50 hours long, and I can't do all of it, but I'm trying. And I feel like I've seen more movies and TV. Like, I'm more in tune with the entertainment industry right now than I have been in several years. It's because I've become a, like, try to watch a movie a day type of person. It's always, it's late at night. It didn't work last night. Well, eventually it did. Last night I accidentally fell asleep by 8:30, woke up at 1:20 and thought it was the morning. And it was, technically the morning. Then I sat up and watched the entire P. Diddy documentary, which is gross. Couple takeaways from it, and then I'll get back to the point here. Golden Globe nominees are out. The P. Diddy doc, which I would imagine some of you have seen. I would imagine most people haven't seen the whole thing yet, who's got 4 hours to watch P. Diddy terrorize the world. I did, because it was 1:30 in the morning. What am I supposed to do? What am I going to do? Go to the mall? No. I'm going to play a puzzle game on my phone while P. Diddy assaults everyone he's ever met. A couple takeaways from it. One, watching P. Diddy for 4 hours and his, I don't know, crimes, presumed crimes, accusations everywhere about everything you could possibly imagine, and then some. Watching that on the heels of some of the Epstein stuff that came out last week makes me feel like this world just exists where crazy stuff is happening and I'm not a part of it. And I'm not saying I want to be a part of it, but stuff that you would think is from the movies suddenly seems more real. Like getting details on the P. Diddy freak-off parties with baby oil laced with GHB and just all of it. Connections that are made in this movie between Sean Combs and the deaths of both Tupac and Biggie Smalls were pretty eye-opening. So it feels like there's this horrible, dirty world of secrets that exist that we just we find out a little bit at a time, but then you watch 4 hours of it, like, oh my God, that's what's been going on? What? While just making hit after hit and selling album after album and turning people into stars for, 20 years. And that has all crumbled down. The other thing that stood out to me is I never watched that show, Making the Band, which was... So it was a reality show where Puff Daddy is trying to assemble a girl group. And I guess there were at least 4 seasons of it. And there were all kinds of shenanigans, off camera on that thing. But even from what I had seen of the show, I've never actually seen it, but I saw highlights of it. And it was always Puff Daddy, P. Diddy Combs, being just unbearable, like just a dictator, screaming at people, flipping out, whatever. I mistakenly thought all of that was some just normal guy who was acting and overacting for the show. Not unlike, and again, I don't think I ever saw a full episode of The Apprentice. But Trump kind of, just being a jerk that was very difficult to deal with was a part of the show. It was part of the character. And then you let him be president for a while. Like, I thought he was acting a little there. He wasn't at all. And it's kind of surprising to me to see the way that I perceived the highlights I had seen from that show of Puffy just screaming at people, flipping over, throwing all stuff off a desk and throwing a lamp against all that stuff. I thought was for show. And then you watch this documentary and it's like, oh, that's who he was and that's just what they captured. They didn't show the bad stuff. That was best. That was the best behavior he has that was on display during the course of that show. And that was surprising to me. Those are the 2 takeaways. Golden Globe nominees are out. While I feel like I've seen a bunch of stuff this year, I have not. So I look at Best Picture. There are 6 movies. I saw Sinners. So I would vote for that one. They move on to Best Picture, musical or comedy, and that's where One Battle After Another shows up. When I saw these nominations were out, I just really wanted to see, is One Battle After Another nominated for everything? And it is nominated for pretty much everything. I see it listed for Best Picture, musical or comedy, which it was funny. I don't think it was a comedy. Like that, to me, was a drama that had funny things in it. It's not a comedy. Was Pulp Fiction a comedy? Because you'll laugh a lot when you watch it. Is any of the Tarantino stuff, is any of that comedy? All of it's got jokes. Reservoir Dogs was, the dialogue in that, his first movie, that's what stood out was, wow, this is a funny heist movie. And One Battle After Another has jokes all over it. But I still wouldn't classify it as a musical or comedy. That said, I think Warner Brothers makes that choice, right? They submit. You don't just get nominated. You have to, run for Golden Globes, I believe. I think that's how it works for Oscars and Grammys. And you for your consideration. That's the whole... There's a movie called that, one of the Christopher Guest movies. So, you make a movie, and you're like, I think this one's good. We're going to submit it. I don't know the entire process, but it's not fans, critics, whatever, deciding that One Battle After Another falls under musical or comedy. But that was the decision that was made. It is up against 5 movies, none of which I've seen. So I'm rooting for that one. Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson's there. Ryan Coogler's there for Sinners. And then 4 movies I haven't seen. Screenplay, One Battle After Another. So right now we're at everything it could be nominated for, it is. I saw that once and said it's going to win all the Oscars. Then I watched it again, and I more strongly believe it's going to at least be nominated for all the Oscars and has a good chance of being this year's movie that just sweeps everything. So let's see. Going through. Best Picture, yes. Best Director, yes. Best Screenplay, yes. Non-English language couldn't be nominated. Best Actor, nothing. Oh, sorry. It's under musical or comedy. So Best Actor, musical or comedy, Yes, DiCaprio there. Best Actress, Musical or Comedy, Chase Infinity, who was the daughter in that for One Battle After Another. So yes, animated feature doesn't count. Cinematic and box office achievement, I don't know what that means. I'll skip it. Supporting actor, they combine them here. Drama, musical, and comedy, they're all combined as predicted immediately by John Fuller when he saw it. Sean Penn nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Best Supporting Actress, Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another. Best Music, Original Score, Johnny Greenwood of Radiohead for One Battle After Another. So every place that this movie could be nominated, it was. Original Song, I don't think they had an original song. No, plus that one's got to go to K-Pop Demon Hunters anyway, right? So that's it. So of the categories in which One Battle After Another could have been nominated, it has been nominated in every one. Best Actor, Best Actor, Actress, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress, Screenplay, Picture, the end. That's all of them. And music. Music, Original Score. I don't see any sort of editing things here. I don't know if they do that for the Golden Globes. But so I will be rooting for One Battle After Another to win every one of these Golden Globes. The awards take place, I think, January 11th, something like that. This is a precursor, obviously, to the Oscars, which is bigger. But I like Golden Globes because it's TV and movies. You get down to TV series. There are 6 on here, one of which I've seen, and I haven't even seen the new season, and that is Severance. I have not seen The Diplomat. I have not seen The Pit. I have not seen or heard of Pluribus. Not seen or heard of Slow Horses, and I watched half an episode of The White Lotus and decided it was not for me. I'm sure it gets better. I don't need things to get better. If I watch it and it sucks, to me, it's easy for me to bail because there are so many things on my list that I want to see and haven't gotten around to. So once I start you, White Lotus, I can easily quit you and move on. Severance, I saw the first season. It was great. The new season started. I tried to watch the first episode. I couldn't remember what happened in the previous one. So I watched that whole thing. Then I watched the last episode of the first season. Then I went back and watched the first episode of the second season. And then I realized I've got to wait until they're all out. And they are by now. And I will watch that show start to finish soon. It's on my list. Got to check it out soon. TV series, musical, or comedy. The Studio is on there. That's my favorite. I've seen a little bit of The Bear. I didn't like it. I'm aware of Abbott Elementary, Hacks. Nobody Wants This, I've heard of. Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. Those are the TV series, musical, or comedy. I'm rooting for The Studio. Studio's great. Actor in a drama, Adam Scott, Severance. That's my choice because that's the one I've seen. I've seen none of the others. Actor, musical, or comedy, Seth Rogen, The Studio. I'm in. That's quite the list. For television, musical, or comedy, the actors listed are Adam Brody, Steve Martin, Glenn Powell, Seth Rogen, Martin Short, Jeremy Allen White. It's quite the category right there. Actress in a drama, Kathy Bates from Matlock? Come on. Britt Lauer for Severance is my choice because I haven't seen the other stuff. Actress, musical, or comedy. I've got nothing. I've got no dog in this fight, although I do like Natasha Lyonne in general. Selena Gomez, Kristen Bell. But I've never seen any of those shows, so we move on. Supporting actor TV. Adolescence. I saw that. I watched that. I would root for that one. Paul Giamatti, Black Mirror. He's always good. Jude Law, Black Rabbit. I never finished that. I started it, and it was fine. And now it's been so long. It's been a month or more since I've watched it. I'd have to remind myself what's going on. I'd have to read recaps. I'm probably done with that show. Supporting actress TV. Never seen any of these. Limited anthology series or TV movie. All right. Adolescence is my winner because it's the only one I've seen. Actor in those limited TV series, movie, whatever. The Kid. How about the kid from that? Ashley Walters. I don't know if that's the kid from the movie or the show, I should say. But somebody named Ashley Walters is nominated for Best Actor. I would imagine it's the lead kid in Adolescence. Ashley can be a girl or boy's name. We all recognize that. Oh, and they do have actor and actress separated, so yeah, it's a boy. Catherine O'Hara is nominated for actress for The Studio. She was good. Parker Posey and Amy Lou Wood, both from White Lotus. Erin Doherty from Adolescence. I don't remember who that was, but I know Adolescence was very good. Stand-up comedy on TV. There are 6 nominees. I don't know that I've seen any of these, and I watch a lot of stand-up comedy on TV. The candidates here, without even bothering with the titles: Bill Maher, Brett Goldstein, Kevin Hart, Kumail Nanjiani, Ricky Gervais, Sarah Silverman. I'm sure if Ricky Gervais's special came into my view, I definitely would have watched it. So maybe I've seen that. Every time I watch him, he's better than the last time. So he's great. That's my winner there without even knowing. Who's laughing at Kevin Hart? Aside from him standing next to Shaquille O'Neal on stage the other day at the World Cup draw. Who's laughing at those jokes? Man. He did a nice job hosting something. I don't remember what it was. And I respect how well he did it and how well prepared he was. And I know he works hard. He's not funny, and he's so little, and I don't know. There's no chance to me that the funniest thing you could have watched is Kevin Hart. The funniest stand-up comedy of the year is an hour of Kevin Hart. There's just no chance. And then this is, at least to me, this is new. They have a podcast award. So wish me luck. The nominees are Riter Radio, Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Call Her Daddy, Good Hang with Amy Poehler, the Mel Robbins Podcast, Riter Radio again, Smartless, and Up First, which is an NPR thing. Those are your choices. It's good to see Riter Radio getting a little recognition. I don't expect to win, but being amongst the nominees is really me lying to you. We're not close, but that's okay. The show's good. I like the show, but we're not nominated for a Golden Globe this year. Maybe next year. We'll work on it. We'll keep practicing and try to make it happen. Jordan Klepper, who is a Daily Show correspondent, is filming a movie called, it's like a YouTube movie. It arrives today? Is that right? His latest documentary. It seems like it might arrive at noon. It might have arrived 1 minute ago. It's called The Daily Show Presents Jordan Klepper Fingers the Pulse. Give the man a prize. And it is a documentary about Donald Trump trying to win a Nobel Peace Prize. He ended up choking on pepper spray while shooting his latest documentary. Says, because Donald Trump had crafted this idea that Antifa are the only people protesting, the people in Portland decided to shed all of their clothes as an image of nonviolence in front of these agents. He said the October protest quickly turned violent, however. Oh, violent naked is a bad combination for your protest. Said, as we were talking to people, we watched ICE agents consistently shooting these pepper bullets into the crowd. We watched them shove a musical band dressed in banana suits, knock a clarinetist to the ground, shove her face into the ground, where she was then taken across state lines for 2 days. It was terrifying. Mere seconds after a joyous comedic protest coming down the street to try to stop some of the cruelty taking place inside, it was really something to behold that I've never experienced anything like. So it looks like that's out. He says, the violence I saw was so performative, was so reckless, and there was such an intention to provoke. Performative is my least favorite thing. If you ever hear me refer to anything or anyone as performative, that means I don't like you. That's me talking. I'm not reading right now. Performative is in this article, and I love performative, and it's one of the most insulting words that I could use personally. Like, I don't believe what you're doing. You're just putting on a show. It was peaceful protesters who simply were there to provide a counterpoint to the images and things we heard about happening inside, but it was gross. It makes you disgusted to see American servicemen being used to literally attack people in banana costumes playing classical music. Our cameraman has disturbing footage as he was right up there. I was on the outskirts of it, and we all had to leave because we were choking on pepper spray. His latest documentary in his Fingers the Pulse series focuses on the Trump campaign to win a Nobel Peace Prize. The president has faced widespread mockery after being awarded FIFA's inaugural Peace Prize last week during the 2026 World Cup draw. Yeah, I forgot about that. because that all happened right after the show ended. The show ended, and then I sat and watched the draw and was texting back and forth with Scott about it. And yeah, that happened. FIFA has a peace prize now, conveniently, the year that the World Cup is here in the United States, and Trump's in charge. So there's that. Don't care about this. There's this whole article. I don't think I feel like doing it because it's going to take us an extra half hour. This article is from a couple days ago. What's today? Today's Tuesday. This is this is after the Bills won. It's from a site called Buffalo Rumbling, sort of a local, SB Nation thing. The headline is, Buffalo Bills still have issues, but they're winning to stay in the playoff picture. The 9-4 Bills are currently 5th in the AFC after defeating the Bengals at home. And then I read this whole article, and all I could hear is the truth detector in my head, because almost every sentence there's something wrong. Do I want to? I guess this article's not that long. I could do this. What time is it? 12:05. Yeah, all right. Let's see if I have my truth detector sounds. We can do this right now. All right. Do I have my yes noise? Try again. Okay, so that's yes. That's no. All right. Let's read. And then we'll wrap things up. All right. Concerns remain. But the Buffalo Bills earned their second necessary AFC victory in a row on Sunday afternoon and held on to their AFC playoff spot after defeating the Bengals in one of the last remaining games at Highmark Stadium before moving across the street in 2026. The buzzer went there because it was their second necessary AFC victory in a row. That's not true. Had they lost, they'd still be in the playoff picture. It's fine. You want to win all your games. I'm not denying that. Winning is better than losing. We can all agree. But being a little dramatic there on their necessary AFC victory. With the Patriots in a commanding lead of the AFC East, the Bills are battling with the 7-5 Texans, 6-6 Steelers, 6-6 Chiefs for a wild card spot in the 2025 AFC playoffs. Even teams like the Dolphins are still mathematically alive at 6-7. The idea that the Bills would cruise to a divisional championship, punch their ticket to the playoffs, and jockey for a top seed is still out the window. I mean, that's not close to true. And I think this is written by a person. It's not even AI. The tier of teams in the conference that could be considered Buffalo's peers has taken a step back from the championship hopefuls to the playoff hopefuls. Yeah, I would say that about the teams that have 6 wins, not about the teams that have 9. Not a single unit has been an Achilles heel for the team in 2025, however. The defense has underperformed and has lost its pass rush juice after a promising start. Ed Oliver got hurt. The run defense, and Bosa now. Surprise, Joey Bosa's hurt. The run defense has continued its year-over-year trend of suboptimal play. I don't think that's necessarily true at all. I think they've been fine lately. The run defense has continued. I just said that. The passing game lacks any kind of vertical effectiveness. And even Josh Allen has regressed in terms of avoiding negative plays after a historical 2024 that helped propel him to his first NFL MVP award. Everything is not a regression or a step forward. They're kind of the same team. And sometimes he doesn't turn the ball over, and that's awesome. And then sometimes he'll turn the ball over, and that stinks. But it's not always a regression. Oh, they took a step forward today. They took a step back. No, they played a game. A win's a step forward. A loss is a step back. I get what you're going for here. But I just think this is poorly written. I don't know the guy who wrote it. I'm not going to call him out by name. I just think there's so much in here that's inaccurate. I read it thinking it was just kind of a throwaway story, and it is. It's a throwaway story, but it's a bunch of opinions that are dumb. Simply put, the Bills are giving the ball away more and taking it away less. Sort of, unless you watch the game on Sunday in which they took the ball away and didn't give it away. That was better. And they won. They've got 4 losses in 13 games. And in those 4 losses, they've turned the ball over. Yeah. In the wins, the 9 wins compared to the 4 losses, they've taken it away. Ugh. A career season from running back James Cook, a big step forward for second-year safety Cole Bishop, and continued strong play from the O-line have been highlights. But they haven't been enough to help the team replicate its previous year's successes. What are you trying to do? You trying to win the Super Bowl, or are you trying to... The type of issues mentioned above, combined with the team's win-loss record and current seeding, lead to a justifiable lack of optimism surrounding the organization. The Bills could absolutely go on a run, make the playoffs, and even win some games. The AFC looks as weak as it has in years. But what about the team that's been observed over the last month makes you think they will do just that? Can't buzz that. That was a question. Josh Allen making inhuman plays used to be the competitive advantage for the Bills. Now it's what they need just to stay competitive. What does that mean? If you're walking around thinking, woe is me, it's doomsday, the Patriots are walking away with the division, heading into the game where all of that flips with a Bills win and the Bills are favored, I think you're just doing it wrong as a fan. If you're a fan dreading this postseason because the Bills have lost 4 games in the regular season on their way to what could be 13-4 in the top seed, I just think you're doing it wrong. What fun are you having? I think we're done for today. Thanks for listening, liking, sharing, helping distribute, spread the word, rate, review, subscribe. Do all the stuff that every other podcast tells you to do. I don't want to have to repeat it all the time. Just do the stuff, and then we keep growing, and we're good. All right? Thank you for listening, watching, being a part of it. This has been episode 222 of Riter Radio. Episode 223 comes your way tomorrow, and we'll look forward to that. All right.